There's a narration in which, in the Sunnah of Abu Dawood, that we learned that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam one time entered his masjid in the middle of the day, in the daytime, and he found one of the men from the Ansar, and his name was Abu Umama. And he says to him, "O Abu Umama, why is it that I find you in my masjid in a time other than a prayer time?" The narration says that he looked overwhelmed. In fact, they describe the way he was sitting as he was sitting with his cheek in his hand like this, kind of very overwhelmed. And Abu Umama responds and he says, "Ya Rasulullah, worries afflict me. Worries, I'm worried, I'm overthinking, worries afflict me, and I have debts, Ya Rasulullah." And this is when the Prophet ﷺ says to him, "Shall I teach you some words that if you were to say them, Allah will remove your worries and help you repay your debt?" And of course, Abu Umama says, "Yes, Ya Rasulullah, please teach me these words." The Prophet ﷺ says to Abu Umama, "In the morning and in the evening, I want you to say these words." He says to him, "Say in the morning or the evening, O Allah, I seek refuge in you from worries and grief. I seek refuge in you from incapacity and laziness. I seek refuge in you from cowardliness and stinginess. And I seek refuge in you from being overwhelmed by debt and being overwhelmed by others." And Abu Umama then says, in the rest of the narration, he says he continued to recite this dua, these words. He said, "I did that until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took away my worries and helped me repay my debt." And I share this story because then it becomes something that is directly part of the tools that the Prophet ﷺ teaches us. The way the Prophet ﷺ dealt with someone who was anxious. Notice, he didn't chastise him. He didn't shame him. He didn't guilt him. He didn't say, "Bad on you. You should have more faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If your iman was stronger, you wouldn't be sitting here worried like this. Who, a mu'min, a good believer doesn't worry." No such rhetoric, no such language. Instead, the Prophet ﷺ empathized, came to his level, talked to him, and made sure that he had a tool, a technique, something he gave him, something to help him with this situation. This is important because the Prophet ﷺ did not say, "What is this anxiety thing? That's not real." No, it's a real and bona fide issue. And the Prophet ﷺ, who is the best of people and has the best of iman, best of faith, why would he every day in his own worship recite, "Oh Allah, lift from me anxiety and grief, or sadness," if these were not real human conditions? So when people come to talk to me about mental health and they say, "Where in the Quran and the Sunnah?" I say, right here, right here. It's really clear, subhanAllah.